Hello, party people. Hello. Hi, it's Randy for Thunderhorse Descendant. I am here today with project number 5. Project number 5, which happens to be our last project of the May Bargain Bead Box. So let's get on down to the mat, get this party started. So if I remember correctly, what we're going to do is we said if we had any extra beads, we would add them. And, well, these don't belong in here. Those don't belong in there. But these other ones do. So we'll maybe add those in. And we also had some leftover of the yellow jade. So we got those guys. I think that was pretty much everything. And this is going to be pretty simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first get my pendant ready. And the pendant I'm going to do on 22 gauge antique. Well, actually, this isn't antique copper. It's just regular copper. And to do that, all I'm going to do, kind of like the other one we did, I'm just going to come up through here. This is about a 6 or a 7 inch little bit of wire, and I'm just going to make a little loop right here, do a twist, and then I can add on my flower. So I got my purple flower on there. And then I'm going to put a bicone on one of the strands. I'll pull this one to the side for now. And I'm just going to wire wrap this like I normally would. So you're just going to take your round nose. You're going to do a little bend. Okay. Over the top. Spin your plier. Put the pressure. Bring it all the way out 90 degrees. Reposition your plier and then wrap around about 3 times. Now this one, I'm just going to go ahead and cut off and tuck him into the bicone. So there we have our loop. Now with this one, I'm going to wrap this one. Kind of want this one to be in the front. So, let's see, I'll wrap this way, and I'm going to get my spin going there, and then I'm going to turn to the side and I'm going to wrap down. It's kind of just like the other one that we did a couple of videos ago. Pretty easy. So, go ahead and give that a cut. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just tuck this into the side of the wire by rolling it over. And there we go. So now I have my pendant. So we do have a multi-strand necklace. So I could actually do another, but I think I'm just going to put this one in the chain. And then we're just going to add these other bits of beads throughout the chain. And we're going to do 3 strands probably. So what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with a 12-inch piece. That might even be a little bit excessive because once we start to add in the beads, it's going to get a lot longer. So I'm going to start with 12 inches right here. And this chain, you are going to have to cut it. You are going to have to cut it. So here's our 12 inches. And okay. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not even going to worry about that right now. What I am going to do is I'm just going to start wrapping up these beads. And to do that, I'm just going to get my looper. I'm going to use the 1.5 millimeter looper. If you don't have a looper, you can do simple loops on these. And I'm just going to start looping them up. Okay. And that is how I'm going to do that. So what you're about to see is the missing link video inside this Bargain Bead Box video. So I got everything. I got all of my little beads wound up, and I was like, geez, this really needs something. It needs something. It needs more, because, you know, if one is good, 5 is better. So I actually ended up making a project from the missing link, which I'll put this in the missing link playlist as well, but I just want to let you know what you're about to see is a missing link video. So that's that. Here we go. We're gonna play a little different game here today in this video. This is going to be let's see, what is this? 26, 27, 28, 29. This is week number 29, I believe, for the missing link series. So I'm going to cut this in here because I want to add these little guys to my necklace that we're making for the Bargain Bead Box. So I'm just going to move the book over here, and I'm going to follow what the directions say. So what we are going to need is a flat nose plier, a bail forming plier, 6 millimeter, a flush cutter, a rawhide mallet, a steel bench block, a Sharpie, and then liver of sulfur, which we don't use. So here's my Bargain Bead Box project. So we're doing two in one right now. So right now it says mark the wire 1.5 from one end with the Sharpie. Grasp the wire at the mark with the 6 millimeter barrel pliers and coil the wire around the barrel for 12 complete turns. The tail wires should be directly across from each other. Okay, so Sharpie, bell neck plier. Let's see. Well, I want this to be 6 millimeters. Is this 6 millimeters? Well, this is 6 millimeters. So the smaller one? The smaller one. Okay, the smaller one. Got it. And we need 14 inches of 18 gauge wire. So let me get some 18 gauge wire. 12, 16, 16, 20. All right. Well, it looks like our options for copper are either 16, 12, or 20. So I'm actually going to use, I think I'm going to go with 16. It might be a little bulky, but it's fine. This necklace is a little bulky. So I got 16 gauge. And we are going to do 14 inches. Bum, bum, bum. here, ruler. What are you doing? All right. Okay. So 14 inches. So there is 12 inches right here. Plus 1, 2. Okay. 14 inches. We got it. We got it. Okay. Mark the wire 1.5 inches from one end with a Sharpie. 1.5 inches. Okay. Got it. 1.5 inches. 6mm barrel of the bail forming pliers and coil. Okay. So I gotta be going this way. Okay, so I'm grabbing by the mark and I'm coiling. Coil, coil, coil. I think these are going to be cute in this necklace, which is why I'm doing it like this. I know you're like, Randy, what's happening? I wanted to do it like this. Okay, still coiling. Grasp one end of the coil with a flat nose plier and gently stretch out the coils. Okay, complete 12 complete turns. Wires should be directly across from each other. 12. Okay, so I got 1, 2. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11. And this should be my last one. With them ending directly across from each other. Should go a little more. Okay. So this is what I have. All right. Grasp one end of the coil with the flat nose plier. One end of the flat nose plier to stretch it out. Okay, gently stretch out the coil. Use your fingers, pull the ends of the coil around, form a circle. Okay, well, I kind of want these ones to be a little more stretched out. Okay, and then form a circle. Using your finger. Okay, I got a U. Cross the tail wires to form an X. Well, we have an X. I think they're supposed to be up. So I'm just going to bend them up. And then they got to form an X. Okay. This has got to be a little more rounded, I think. Ooh, okay. All right, now we're cooking. You guys see me? All right. Form an X. use the chain nose pliers to bend the tail wires slightly so the wires form a right angle to each other. Wrap the horizontal wire around the vertical wire twice and then trim. Okay, so we're basically going to make a loop. Okay, so I prefer this one to be my vertical, and this one is the one I will wrap, but I do want this to be a little more circular. Let me see about putting this in there and kind of bringing them, just these end ones, around a little more. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, and then create a wire wrap loop. Okay, so I'm just going to bend this one up, and then this is the one that is going to wrap around. So I'm actually going to grab this with my chain nose, and I just want to be able to get a good grasp here on this vertical wire. There we go. Ooh, I had it. One, ooh. Two. Of course, I'm using the 16 gauge, which is a little more stiff. Wrap it around twice. All right. So we got that going for us. I actually like this. I like this. Okay. And then I'm just going to create a wire wrap loop on the top with the round nose plier. Okay, so I'm just going to bend out a little bit and then go over the top, spin, bring this all the way around, and wrap down to meet those other wires. And since I am using this heavier gauge, I'm going to have to get in here with my plier. I'm going to hold of that. There we go. And bring him around a little more. All right, perfect. Tuck it in, get this straightened out. Okay, I'm just kind of adjusting here. Hey! I am pretty dang happy with myself. Look at there. I know it's not as tight as those, but I actually kind of prefer that. I think it turned out spectacular. So there we go. That is missing link number 29, I believe. This is called the curlicue, and I like it a lot. All right, now what I'm going to do before I start attaching my beads and everything is I'm going to make a couple more of these. My plan is we're going to have 3 multi-strands for this necklace, and I kind of want to hang some of these towards the middle. Like this one I'm probably going to leave by itself, but on the second strand, or maybe even the third strand, I'm going to add about three of these maybe. Yeah, 3. Maybe I make 5, 3 to 5. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to jump off camera and I'm going to make some more of those. I'll be right back. All right, guys. So I got all of my little missing link guys done. I ended up making 5 of them, and now we're going to start to construct our Bargain Bead Box necklace. So once I got all these little pendants, charms, I don't know what you want to call them, links, made, it kind of was like, all right, so now I'm thinking I got a little better idea where I'm going to put all the beads for our necklace. So let's get down to the mat and continue on. All right, guys, so here we are on the mat, and I made 5 of these little links, and now I'm thinking I might want to do all beads or a lot more beads in the middle chain than in the first or the third. So, but before we get going on that, I'm just going to start with these right here, and my plan is to measure out the middle of this, so it should be 6 inches. Okay, so that makes the middle right here in between these 2 links, which it looks like it does. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start connecting all of our stuff. I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm actually going to be using some copper jump rings because I used copper wire for here. So we're going to start connecting up our necklace. So here we go. And I'm just going to get one of these ready. Okay. And put him on there. So this is going to be the center. And what I'm going to do actually, which way is the front? Which way is the front? Which way is the front? This way is the front. Are we hanging correctly? Okay, so I'm going to put him on here, and then I'm just going to pick one of these links and hang him on. It's not really going to matter because we're going to get some excess anyway. We just want to generally be in the middle, because when we start to cut this chain apart to add our things, it's going to get longer, and we might have more links on the end that we're not using. So now from here, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4th one. And I'm going to connect on this guy. Is this guy going to be hanging correctly? No. So I got to give him a half a turn here. There we go. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, making sure my chain is still hanging good. Oop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, spin this guy as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I'm making sure to hang these all on the, the bottom, so that when I lift it up, they're going to be hanging, correctly. The one's not going to be flipped over like that or anything. So that's how they're going to be hanging. All right, so now that we got those on there, we're going to start cutting in our pieces of chain. So I'm going to move this down a little bit. We're going to just focus on this side. So I just want to keep my chain going good. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut out 1, 2, 3. I'm going to count 3 and I'm going to cut. So I'm not going to cut on the one that is the 3rd one's connection. I'm going to cut the next one. Okay. So you could keep this if you would like. It's completely up to you. I'm actually going to go ahead and just remove the whole bit. Okay. and make sure my chain is acting right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab up one of these that we have created, and I'm going to hook it in. So I'm doing this by just opening up both sides of the ring that we created, closing it up. You could do this with jump rings as well. It's completely up to you. So the only thing that I do want to make sure that I'm doing is I want to make sure that on the other side, I'm going to use one that has 3 beads because I want it to be a little bit even. So I'm going to go to this side. You could use the same one if you want, but I'm not gonna. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, and then not the link that is connected to 3, but then the next one. And remove the whole bit. And then I'm going to attach this one. Has 3 beads on it. Let's see. So at the very least, I just want to make sure that I have one that has 3 beads on it. So there we go. This is a little more important on this strand than it is on other strands because this is going to be our focal piece and we want that to be in the middle. So alrighty. So all we're trying to do here is to get about 18, 20 inches, you know. So we're going to go back to this side. And I'm going to count 1, 2. 1, 2. I'm going to remove this one. Okay. And then I'll put in another 3. And you don't have to. You can put in 2, 1, whatever you want to do. But I am going to put in 3. Close that up. Open this side. Okay. Now we go over here and we go 1, 2, and we're going to add 3 on this side. All right, let's take a little measure and see what we got so far. Consult the froggy tape. Thus far we have 14 inches. Okay, so we're going to continue to add. And we're going to go, well, we could just add on to the end here. What do we got on the other side? 1, 2, 3, yeah. Okay, so we'll just add on to the end. Why not? And here's what I think I'll do for that. So since we're going to have to add a little bit of length here, because we only got 14 inches, so we need to have 4 more inches. That's 2 inches on each side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a jump ring, and I'm going to connect this one to another one with, you know, here you could, you could do 2, and then add, you know, whatever kind of little pattern you want to add right here is fine, because you're going to put the same amount on the other side. So, so I did 3 and 2, and I'll do another 2, and close that up. Making sure all the loops are good and closed up well, which looks like they are. And so then this is going to attach onto the end. I'm debating if that's going to be enough. It probably will be. So I'm going to go ahead and attach it on, and you can either attach it with a jump ring or just attaching it into the chain like we have been doing. I think that I will just attach it with a jump ring right here. So we have this. And that looks good. Okay. All right. So then we go to the other side. We are going to connect the same on this side. So right here I have 2, 2, and then 3. So 2, and 2, close that up, and then we'll put one with 3 on there. Okay. So then I just attach with the jump ring as I did with the other side. So 2, 2, and then 3, because that's the pattern I have on the other side. Okay. And now we should have more than enough. We should have more than enough length here. So let me measure it. Okay, so we have exactly 18 inches, 18 1/4 inches on this one. So this is our first one. And then of course we're going to be adding things up here to finish the necklace. So I'm not going to do any of that right now. I'm just going to leave it as is. So this is what the first one is looking like. Looks pretty cute. So I'm pretty happy with it. So I'm going to move on to the next layer. Now, like I said, I think that this next layer is going to be mostly beads, and then the third layer is going to be again some chain, but I think it might actually just be the chain with maybe 2 sets of bead in it. So this is going to be mostly beads here, and we need to have, so the first one is 18, so we got to have at least 20 inches worth. So I'm hoping that we can get that with what we have here. So I'm going to get the jump rings. I'm going to be using these larger jump rings to connect them, because that's going to give us more length, and we'll see what we end up with once we get all this together. So I'm going to jump off camera. I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, here we are with the second strand. I got it all put together. I just put together each link with jump rings, and I got a lot more length that way. However, it wasn't quite enough. I had to add 4 links of chain to the top, and I've just attached another jump ring there so that I can attach it with the first strand. So all in all, this ends up being so our first one was what, 18? This one is 21. And then after completing this one, I was like, okay, so this first one is going to go, I mean, the dangles are going to hang over, but it's whatever. That's fine. So these are going to go like this. And then the idea was to have this third chain just being the longest of chains. But we're out of beads and we're out of chains, so it's fine. So what we're going to do is we are going to connect onto this second necklace with our chain here. And so I'm going to just get everything on here. Make sure this is right. Okay, and then I'm going to hold it up and I'm going to find the middle. So the middle is this one right here, which is kind of a problem because then it can't hang on one side or the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a side. I'm going to pick this side here. And that means we should have, well, maybe, yeah. I'm just looking. We're probably going to have one extra link at the top. So in order to make sure this is going to hang correctly when I start putting my links on it, I'm going to pick this side. I'm going to have to cut one link off the top, but this one here, where these two intersect, because you want this to be even, this is going to be the bottom part of the necklace. So I have 3 pendants to put on, and I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to get this one in the middle. So I'm going to give this a spin and get my jump ring. Okay. So I'm going to put this on there. And I kind of want this one to hang down a little bit more. So I'm actually, I was just going to attach it, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 jump rings on there. Since this is the end middle one, I want it to be kind of hanging down a little further. So I'm going to take both of these links and go through there. So it kind of creates a V. And the reason for that is then it's not going to be able to move from the middle. Okay. So that is what I want to do. So now when I hold this up, it's going through 2 links. And when you hold it out straight, it's going to look funny, but once it's dangling the way it's supposed to be, it's going to be fine. Yep. You could even cut those if you want and attach them one by one or whatever, but that's up to you. So now I'm going to count just like in our first one that we did, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and I'm going to attach my other pendant. Nope, I gotta make sure this is the right way. There we go. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Alrighty, that guy's on there. And now this one, I just want to make sure my chain is laying straight. This one, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh. Oh, fell off. Okay, pendant, what are you doing? Got a wire sticking out. Okay, try it again. 1, 2. This one right here. There we go. Alrighty. So now when I hold it up, I want to make sure everything is looking pretty good, which it looks like it is. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our second strand and I'm going to attach the end of the chain. So for this one, I'm going to get my jump rings on the end. Okay. And I'm going to take the end of the chain and I'm going to put on, oh, I got one extra link on this side. Is that correct? Let me look at it. So holding this straight. Yeah, I got one extra link here, so I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. Because we don't need that. Want everything to be even. Okay, so now take my jump ring and I'm going to connect onto the end, and I'm going to connect this jump ring onto the second strand. So it's really up to you where you want it to hang, but this one is going to hang down a little lower. So I'm going to actually attach it to the first jump ring right here. The first jump ring. You could even go down 1 or 2 if you'd like, depending on how long you want it to be. But since this strand doesn't have anything dangling from it, it should be okay. So I just want to make sure this is good. And connect here. What was that? A bead in my plier? Okay. All right. We are well on our way. Okay, so now when I hold this up, I should have it pretty good. Yeah, looks like it's going pretty good. What happened here? There we go. Okay, so now we are going to attach all of these together. So let's get our top one in there. This is the front. Nope, that's the back. This is the front. And our front goes here. And we need a couple jump rings. So I'm yet to connect these on there, but I'm going to do that. So the reason I'm connecting jump rings to jump rings, you're like, that's a lot of jump rings. It's so everything can move around. When you have multi-strands, in some cases you want them to move, and in other cases you don't want them to move. In this case, I want everything to be able to move. So that's why I'm putting jump rings on the end. Should probably close them up, I guess. There we go. Now, I'm going to connect all 3 of these onto one jump ring. Now this is important. You want to make sure that you are connecting all of your strands in an orderly fashion. So we want the first strand in first, then the second strand, which is also connected to the third. You don't want this to be twisted or anything. So there we go with that. I'm going to close that up. Okay. And we're going to go over here and we're going to get a hold of the first strand. I'm sorry, since I'm right-handed, we're going to get a hold of the outside strand first, making sure that it is all right, not twisted up. You're just going to want to hold it. You want to make sure that your second strand is hanging to the inside when you're holding it, right? So that's kind of what you want to look for. And then we put on the first strand. Okay, so when I hold all this up, I should have this. Everything appears kosher. Cool. So then we put this in there. And the only thing left to do is to put on some kind of clasp, because we have no clasp for this. So let's see what kind of clasp I got rolling around. Oh, perfect. Here's a hook and eye clasp, which I believe came from Bargain Bead Box. I don't know when, but this is what we're going to use, because why not? Perfect. So now all there's left to do is to put on the clasp. So take the hook, put him on there. Now, when attaching to your necklace, you want to make sure that you're attaching your clasp to not the jump rings that are holding your necklace strands on, but to the middle one that isn't really holding anything, because that would defeat the purpose of having them on there. So you see how this oval jump ring, this jump ring is connected to the first strand, this jump ring is connected to the second strand. This other one is just holding them together. That's the one you want to connect to. Now, on this side, I have one little soldered link for this. So I actually want to kind of give a tail in case somebody wanted to make it longer. So in order to do that, I'm going to connect a jump ring. Ooh, that's not it. Where'd it go? I'm going to connect a jump ring. Okay. Okay. Like so. Yes. So I'm going to connect a jump ring to this soldered ring and close it. And then I might connect a couple of more jump rings to this guy. To make it clear that this is the tail. And to give it a little more length if somebody needed a little more. Not too much, but a little bit. Okay. Just a smidgy. So now, I do know that with these you kind of gotta spread them out. Break it. You gotta break it. Okay, don't break it. Don't worry, we have another one. Let me just do this before I put it on there. Kind of gotta spread those a little bit before, I guess, to put this on, because otherwise it's too tight and I can't get in there. That has been my past experience anyways. Don't do it too much. because you'll break it like me. All right. There we go. Is everything on there now? Okay. So then you can just take your hook, go through any of these jump rings to get a little bit of slack, and there we go. So I'm gonna have to get a necklace for him probably. Let me zoom you out so you can see. I put my camera way up high, so I gotta zoom. There we go. Okay, so there is the whole works. So we have this one. Now, this top one, it is gonna hang over. And if that bothers you, then, you know, I mean, it shouldn't be too big of a problem, but it's gonna hang over a little bit. These guys are gonna hang to the side, and that's gonna hang like that. You know, when you're moving around, it's gonna be fine. The reason we had to do that is because this first one has to be at least 18 inches, and we just didn't have quite enough chain. Had we had a little more, I would have added a little more to this beaded portion, so it could be down a little further, but I mean, it's fine. That one was real serious, you guys. But I'll get you some, I'll get it up on the neck form, and we'll take a look at it in a little video. So anyways, I hope you guys are enjoying these videos. If you are, please make sure to give me a like. Don't forget to make a comment, and don't forget to subscribe so you can find me on the internet again. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.